And man, we getting in this thing hot and heavy, man. We got to start out with the Devin Bush, Joe Schobert, who is the 3-down linebacker. Because we've had some interesting reports that have come out in the past 24 hours now, man. We know not just with this situation, but also we got even more details about the contract. Can we salute the man by the name of Kevin Colbert, please? Round of applause. God. That dude is a monster when it comes to this stuff. You saw these numbers, dude. Like, how?
I don't know. Did Jacksonville just really view Schobert like that?
How? I don't get it, man.
Because they brought in some dude. They brought in some dude that he was competing with. So I think they just viewed Schobert as expendable and wanted to get him off the roster in a way.
I mean,
which is crazy to me. But you're right. And then how much are they? It's $3 million one way or another.
Yeah, I think they were taking on 3.5. I think they said of that, and we're on the cap it was like a cap hit of 1.5 for us. Yeah,
it's only a cap hit of 1.5.
Yes, dude, it's something like ridiculous like that, bro. Yeah.
Okay, because they did some type of restructuring where that cap hit's gonna go against him for future years. I think that's what it is. Because remember how it was 0 on the dead cap? That's probably how they have the cap hit right now at 1.5 million.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. Because I was just sitting here like, bro, this is nuts right here, man. Because even in the concept of, all right, if you're just trying to offload a guy because you don't want the cap hit, well, you wouldn't take on that much of his contract. So that part didn't add up. Then I'm like, okay, if you're just trying to get younger, I'm like, he's still a young player. You still have this dude 3 more seasons before he's 30. Like, I don't get it, man. But I'm glad they did do it. Shout out to them for that, man. Shout out to them for that. Yeah,
they're essentially paying half. It's saying $3.65 million of his $7 million salary. That's what the Jaguars are paying. So we're paying the difference there, which is basically half.
For a 6th-round pick.
Yeah, and a 6th-round pick.
Bro.
So here's what happened too. Schobert agreed to turn $2.36 million of this year's salary and convert it into a signing bonus, which turns Schobert's 2021 cap hit to $1.35 million. Yeah. So I don't know if that goes on to future years or not. That $2.36 million.
It just means now that they've essentially he already has that money paid for. So whatever happens going forward, that part is always going to have to carry over. That we talk about like with Joe Hayden's deal, right? Why he still has a cap hit of what is his cap hit right now? I want to say his cap hit was like double digits.
Oh yeah,
but a large part of that wasn't because what his salary was going to be this season. It was because the signing bonus that he got when he first signed the deal and just how they did like pick which year they wanted to hit. Yeah. So by them converting that to, you said it was like 2-point-something million or whatever to a signing bonus. That's why. So they
might have that on next year's cap hit. So if we do cut him, it's not going to be 0 anymore. Right. It might be $1 million or $2 million.
Right. Even though he's technically he's getting that same 7.5 this season. It's just how it's chopped up for him. That's all.
Okay. I get you. But no, dude, you're right. That's just an amazing deal. Yeah. A 6th-round pick. We're probably going to be getting a lot of comp picks, too. We talked about this whenever we traded for Loudermilk. Remember, we were like, oh, man, I can't believe we gave up a pick next year. It's like we should be getting a lot with some of these dudes that we lost in free agency.
Mike, who else got paid? Oh, man.
Filer.
Oh, yeah, he was the other one. I was about to say it was the 3rd guy. Yeah. Oh, those significant, man.
But, yeah, it's an amazing deal. Now, going back to what you said about some of the things that Schobert's saying, it makes it even a better deal because it looks like he's going to have instant impact.
Yeah.
Big time need.
Yeah, man. From, obviously, I mean, this stuff is out there now, but, I mean, as soon as he got there, day 1, rep 1, he's with the ones. He talked about it in the, in this press conference after practice. Coaches confirmed it as well, but yeah, they're not putting the training wheels on him, man. They're throwing him out there and letting him learn. You know, he confirmed it himself that he's going to be the green dot guy. He's learning the dime backer position. He's learning the Mac linebacker position, which obviously got everybody talking because green dot, dime linebacker, Mac backer, typically the linebacker that does not come off the field. Now, we know that we drafted Devin Bush a couple years ago, 10th overall, and he was supposed to be in that role. So once this information came out from Joe, got a lot of people talking, got a lot of people, you know, trying to figure out what's going on here, because that was a little bit of the debate before he went out there on the practice field. How would he align? What group would he be with? What does it mean for Devin Bush? But for me, man, I can totally understand why the team is taking this approach right now. As it stands right here in August 16th, right? Joe Schobert's a better football player than Devin Bush. Not a better athlete, just a better football player. Now, what I mean by that is the productivity that Joe has had throughout his career, season after season, different coordinators, different teams, different divisions.
Yeah, he said he has, I think he said six different schemes or something like that.
This would be his 7th scheme or something like that, he said, yeah. But for a fact, he's been productive in every single defense, every single situation he's been in. He's been to a Pro Bowl already. He's signed a massive extension already. Devin Bush hasn't done any of that just yet. Even if you go on a season per season basis, Devin hasn't been able to have the productivity that Joe has had either. So Joe is a better player today. Not saying that Devin has the higher ceiling, because Devin is a great athlete, but right now Devin is behind Joe with this. Now, I like it because it's going to alleviate some of the pressure off of Devin, right? We talked about, man, all right, mentally, man, that it's a lot when you got to
one. He just needs to get physically back.
Yeah. Even though he said he's 100% and he was being held back, we know sometimes that, man, your perspective versus his perspective might be a little different here. So with Devin, I just feel like alleviating the pressure of having to be the guy, alleviating the pressure of having to be the communicator, having to take on the crazy assignments and coverage. Like, I think that that's going to help him early on, getting his feet back under him, so he doesn't have to feel like he has to be Superman. If he's next to Spillane early on, he's going to feel like he has to be Superman. He's going to feel like he has to do extra. And now when you
combine with trying to communicate everything to the defense
while coming back from a knee injury, right? We know that he's been in and out of preseason and training camp. So it was a lot going on there, man. But now when you're sitting there, you got Joe next to you, who's a proven player, who is a Pro Bowler, who has already done this multiple times, can cover, can play the run, can rush the passer. He checks every box that you want. And he doesn't give you any off-field issues either. Yeah, you want a guy like that here to help Devin Bush out, to help him, mentor him, to get him to understand, like, look, this is how it is right here, right? This is how we operate. But I also like the fact that, I'm a big competition guy. I know we don't always like competition, but I love competition, because one thing's going to happen. You're either going to find out if this guy can rise to the occasion, or he's going to fall. And now we know, all right, this isn't the guy for that spot right there. But with this is Devin's first time having competition in the NFL. Vince Williams was never competition to Devin Bush. Robert Spillane was never competition to Devin Bush. Devin would come to work every day and never have to worry about if a guy was better than him at his spot, if he was ever going to come off the field. Now with Joe being here, it's a legitimate situation where, hey, Devin, you legitimately could be coming off the field on third downs now. We drafted you 10th overall 2 years ago, but you could be legitimately coming off the field right now. Take that as disrespect. Take it as like, yo, this isn't cool. And you should want to rise to that occasion. But now we got somebody that can legitimately challenge him to make him have to rise to that occasion. And now we're just going to find out more about Devin. And that's, to me, what I'm really excited about, because if he does do it, if he does rise to that and he becomes who we think he can become, well, it just makes our defense that much better.
Defense that much better, and the linebacker tandem of him and Schobert that much better.
Yes.
I could see this being really good, because now Schobert, we obviously talked about his specialty being in coverage. That's what Devin Bush, we were hoping would be his specialty. We haven't seen that to full bloom just yet. Do you like Devin taking on more of the Vince Williams type of stuff and Spillane type of stuff that we were talking about and expecting Spillane to be doing as kind of like a rover, getting more mixed up in the run game?
I feel like that's going to be better for Devin early on, especially while Devin is getting his legs back up under him. I mean, that was the biggest reason why we wanted Devin practicing, why you want Devin in preseason games. Because if you don't have him out there in these situations, we all operate with a false sense of comfort, a false sense of security that, oh, Devin, hey, man, we know he's a great athlete, so he can cover everybody. We know Devin's a great athlete. Oh, he'll get downhill and make every tackle, until you have to do it. And we saw, like, hey, man, you're going to need to practice. You're going to need to be out here. And now you're going to get that, man. So I do think, man, him being in the box more because of Joe being here will alleviate some of that pressure from him and allow him to do those things and play a little faster and just get more confidence under him. Not saying that he's lacking in confidence, but the more you make plays, the more confidence you get at the NFL level. So for Devin, man, you want to get more of that under your belt, man. So I just don't see this. I don't see how this could be negative at all for him, man. I mean, I can, but as a whole, the end result, I just feel like it's going to be super positive for him.
Yeah, definitely. The competition for the 3-down linebacker spot should only light a fire in him. And I think you've seen some of these reports, like Bush has a little bit more pep in his step in training camp right now, which is cool. I just like the idea of them two as a tandem. And what's crazy is a 6th-round pick, dude, a former Pro Bowler, a dude that's potentially going to be the 3-down linebacker where we're taking Devin Bush off the field. Whereas, like, what we had to do to get Devin Bush was trade up, use a 1st-round pick. Whereas we just got this dude. He might be our full-time starter at middle linebacker position for a 6th-round pick. Like, that's just crazy. You got to give a shout out to Colbert because you're seeing even those things, or tweets and information floating around on the internet where after DeCastro, we end up getting Trey Turner, Schobert, Melvin Ingram, and we still have $11 million in cap space somehow. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah, and he was patient.
That's wizardry right there.
He was patient through it all, right? I mean, we've obviously talked about different players that were available early on. But once again, right, this is why, in terms of Kevin, why he can't wait like that, and also why media, even though you'll have certain names out there, you never really know who's fully available because nobody would have known that Joe Schobert, a year after signing that deal and being a super productive player for them a year ago, it wasn't like he was down there and sucked. No, he balled out down there as well. But when you think of that, nobody would have said, oh yeah, Joe is a guy that, you know, we should be targeting. Joe is the guy that's available. That's one of those, you got to know the person to know that deal, you know, and it's good to see that. I'm glad that Kevin has those resources, but now you think about it, Kevin has, I mean, we talked about it on last show. They've done some business with Jacksonville now a couple of times, man. So hopefully they just keep them phone lines open, baby. Keep them phone lines open.
And that's the thing with having the $11 million in cap space. We could see how the preseason plays out because I think our next thing is probably cornerback.
Yeah.
Is if we're going to make a move, we probably should before the season here. It'd be wise to do before the season, but I could see us making one mid-season, just kind of like we did with Avery Williamson too. True. If like first 3 weeks it's not working out, hey, we got to make a move at cornerback somehow, some way. Because there's some good slot corners out there still. We've talked about that. Maybe we make a trade. I don't know what exactly it would be, but it's nice to still have that flexibility with bringing in some of these guys that fill a need that we were concerned about earlier in the offseason. It was like, we're losing guys. Let's trust the process a little bit. And then it's really paid off here in this training camp portion of it.
No, for a fact, man. For a fact. Now, I currently got a poll running right here about who, you know, the group would want to see as the 3-down linebacker, whether it be Joe Schobert or Devin Bush. So as those votes are going in right now, I'm going to get some of these super chats and some of these upper room members.
I'm going to go Schobert.
Time. All right. Get your vote on, man. Get your vote on.
Yeah.
So Craig Newman, welcome to the upper room. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Then after that, we got Miles Harrington. Miles, welcome to the upper room. Yes, indeed. And then we got my guy, my barber, my partner, them in the building, man, just letting us know he is on set and contributing to the vibe, man. We appreciate you. And you still got me looking crispy, man. So shout out to you as well, baby. Next up, we got Chip Slater showing a little love, man. We appreciate that as well, baby. Yes, indeed. And then it looks like, can't see the message from Tyree. I think he's going to circle the block and spin that back. So whenever you do, we'll be ready for it to read off. But then we also got Joe Mernert. Joe Mernert, welcome to the upper room. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, man. This is probably our closest vote that we've had.
Yeah, it is actually.
This thing is spicy right now. So for those that, you know, might have just hopped on with us, man, talking about who we want as a 3-down linebacker, because Joe Schobert, everything that he said in his interview yesterday after practice gives the impression that he will be the 3-down linebacker. He said he's going to be wearing the green dot. He said he's going to be the MAC linebacker. That's the guy who makes all the huddle calls, makes all the checks and audibles on defense. And then he said he'll be the dime linebacker, which is essentially when we go to our nickel package, dime package, where we're going to bring in extra smaller defenders, you know, the coverage guys. We always talked about, oh, Edmonds, he could do this, or Min could do that. It's going to be one linebacker on the field. And typically it's been Devin Bush. But because of what Joe had said yesterday, sounds like it's going to be Joe Schobert. So, man, we had to talk about this because one is homegrown, right? Devin Bush, we had the craziest high expectations for him since we traded up to get him. We know that, man, we hadn't traded up in a draft to get a defender since Woodson, right? I think that was the last time we traded up.
Did we trade up for Polamalu? I think we traded up for Polamalu. We traded up for Holmes too.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I think they said that, because it was because it was top 10, I want to say, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was the top 10. That was
Troy Polamalu. We traded up to the teens.
Right. But it was Woodson was the last one they said they did that with. So when you think about the expectations, you think about the feeling that we have for Devin even a week ago. This is crazy, you know, because life happens fast in the NFL. But that is the NFL for you, man. It's just crazy when it's happening like this to a guy that was a 10th round pick 2 seasons ago. But now you got a chance to respond. How you going to respond to that adversity, man? We're seeing Kevin Dotson go through. We'll talk about him and a slew of other guys going through some of the adversity and how they've either overcome it or in some cases they're looking like they're succumbing to that adversity. Now Devin's going to get his opportunity, though. He's going to get his chance to go through this, man.
Yeah, I don't think this is necessarily a shot at Devin Bush bringing him in because I think them as a tandem could work really well. Maybe just Bush isn't ready for that communication type stuff. That's all. And like you said, Schobert has been more proven throughout his NFL career. And I think this frees Bush up. Like you said, I'm more amped up about this for Bush as opposed to the opposite.
Now,
am I wrong for feeling that?
Absolutely. Like we'll make it positive, and we talked about the positive element. But if you're Devin Bush, this is a absolute slap in the face. They don't draft you 10th overall 2 years ago to tell you that you need to come be Robin. That's essentially what he is right now. He's Robin.
Okay, so there's that much of a distinction, you think? I think of 2 starting middle linebackers. This is awesome for the team.
So imagine when those 2 starting linebackers and they're like, okay, one of y'all got to come off the field.
But how often is that though?
It's possession downs.
Maybe 10 snaps in a game.
And you're used to playing 100% of those snaps.
I get it.
If Minka came off the field for 10 snaps, we would feel that. If Ben came off the field for 10 snaps, we would feel that, right? Same thing. If Dotson came off the field for 10 snaps, we would feel that. You feel those things, man. So yeah, if you're Devin Bush, bro, you go from playing every single snap for you trying to come in here saying, hey, I'm trying to make a Pro Bowl this year. I don't come off the field. And now it's like, hey, man, you know what? We're gonna lighten your load a little bit, baby. We got something for you. Don't worry. Hey, Devin, go sit on the sideline. Hey, get you some Gatorade. Take your time. We got you on this one. Nah, bro. As a player, you never want that. Never. You do not want to, like, because by him accepting this, essentially what Devin would be saying is, you know what? Yeah, you do. You're better than me. That's what you're saying. You're better than me. If you're Devin Bush, you shouldn't be saying that about anybody in the league that plays linebacker. Like, that has to be your energy because we want you to be the best linebacker in the league. You can't be the best linebacker in the league if you're not the best linebacker on your team. That's that. You see what I'm saying here?
He can still be really damn good though, because I'm thinking of the Bucs, man, because they have 2 stud linebackers.
Bro,
so like,
the timing was different.
From a team, no, I get what you're saying. From a team standpoint, though, I'm just way more amped. We got 2 stud linebackers right now.
It's a great situation team wise. We're not talking team. We're talking Devin specifically, though. Devin specifically, this isn't a benefit for Devin. It will be in the long run, but right now, this isn't good for Devin. Right now, this is a slap in the face because they're saying, hey, Devin, we feel like we need to lighten your load. You shouldn't be wanting to feel like they need to lighten your load. Imagine if they say, hey, Ben, we need to lighten your load this year, man. You're doing too much. We got you. Take it easy. Nah. You feel like you're the guy. You feel like you're in your prime and you feel like you're the reason you make this team better. So if you're Devin, by them saying, hey, man, you know, we're gonna ease it up for you. We're going to take some of this off for you. That's not what they brought you here for.
I get what you're saying because the ego's in play there for sure.
They brought you here to be the man.
If Schobert can lighten the load for Bush and Bush could be more of a stud because of that,
I feel like that's how it's going to work out, though.
That's a benefit to Bush. Then I get it. You have to have an ego check a little bit,
right?
Though.
And I'm looking at it from wide angle, right? In terms of, this is great for Devin because it's going to take the pressure off of Devin. It's going to allow Devin to learn from a veteran that is better, right? Because Vince, even though Vince is a veteran, Devin looking at Vince is never going to be the same because he knows, dude, you haven't done anything that I'm reaching for. You haven't had a Pro Bowl. You haven't had an All Pro. You got the contract. Great. But athletically, you can't do anything that I can do. We're 2 different positions. We're 2 different people here. Whereas with Joe, he's going to look at Joe and say, dude, Joe might legit be pushing me here. Joe legit might have me right here. I'm going to have to elevate. I'm going to have to step up. That's great for Devin long term. But in the small right here, the fact that they brought him in there to solidify your spot, your position, that's not cool. And that's what I'm saying.
You think it's more of a shot at Bush, though, as opposed to having Spillane and just us needing depth? I get that we're giving Schobert maybe more of a role than Bush potentially because of the green dot and stuff.
I'm just simply saying this. Football, this is in the locker room talk right here, right? This is a direct shot at him. Spillane was never in competition for Devin Bush. Spillane was never going to have Devin Bush coming off the field. When you talk about a guy coming in here day one and you're going to be the guys coming off the field, that is a shot at you.
It feels like to me, though, the trade was made because of Spillane.
Yeah.
but then it just went up another level as soon as he got here.
Yes.
He's basically just skipping all the steps right now. But, I mean, he's been in the league for how long and has had the production.
But still, Avery Williamson came in last year. He was in the league for a long time, had production. But even with him, they were slow in terms of how they used him, right?
I do feel better about this Schobert trade than Avery Williamson, though.
We always do because it's more recent.
No, I get that. But, I mean, he's made a Pro Bowl, and I think he is better in coverage. That's been more of his MO as opposed to Avery Williamson. Right. He was coming off the ACL and everything. Yeah. And we're getting him a few weeks before the season's even starting. Yeah. So he's going to be more acclimated. And it seems like the Steelers are higher on him than Avery Williamson. To give him to come in day one, like you said, practicing with the ones and saying, hey, I'm getting the green dot.
Not just practicing with the ones, 7-shot first plays out there.
It must have been that Thursday night game, dude. The 2 picks against Mason. They became enamored with him.
But bro, he's had 7 interceptions in the past 2 seasons. Like, that's insane. Just 7 interceptions. Not even talking about the PBUs, not even talking about the forced fumbles. None of the others turn. Like, the dude is crazy productive. Like, he is a good player, a legitimate player. That's why I'm excited about it, man. It's a great problem to have, man.
Yeah. So what are we talking about then with this? Schobert versus
just in terms
Bush.
Of
like, who would you want?
Who do you want coming off the field?
Based off the question.
Or excuse me, because right now I say not who do you want staying on the field. So who do you want as the 3-down linebacker?
I'm good with Schobert. Just because if he's saying that and the Steelers are feeling that way, let's do it. And I think it does benefit Devin Bush. As much as he might not like that, I think it benefits Bush, which benefits the team.
Even if
so
it's
I'm about
competition,
it.
Huh?
Yeah, whatever, man.
I like it. Just not a quarterback.
Hell no.
I love it. At least you're consistent. I like the consistency there. I like it.
Ben's the guy.
I like it.
I'm not having that.
Yeah, so we've had the poll up for 11 minutes now. A little over 220 people voted so far. Yeah, 59%, man. They went with Joe Schobert, man. They want him to be the 3-down linebacker. Now, we're going to look into some of these comments as well. If you could see on your end any of them as well to pull
Super
up.
chats or just
just regular comments right now, just regular ones, yeah.
Okay.
Because I got one more super chat.
Yep, I got a few. Yeah. Money bags. If he's better in coverage, so be it. I guess he's saying, like, let's go with Schobert.
Yeah.
Juicebox 32. This should push Bush to bust. What the hell? We got a poem here. We got a haiku.
Uh-oh, here we go.
This should push Bush to bust his tush and win the dot. That's not bad.
We got a haiku here. You are silly, bro.
That's not bad. Black and Martyr. Iron sharpens iron.
Mm-hmm.
Micah Hemp. Boy, they said Schobert was calling plays in practice already. It's over.
Like, seriously, he was. Yeah.
And this is brand new scheme then for him too.
Well, familiar though, because he was with Ray Horton. Oh my goodness. Ray coached here. He was before I got here. He would have been 10, I want to say 10, 12 time frame maybe, before he left to go to Tennessee. But that's when but either way, Schobert had Ray in Cleveland. So got some carryover with the verbiage, similar to Avery Williamson as well.
Okay.
When he was coming from, obviously he came from the Jets, but he was in Tennessee with LeBeau, so he had a little carryover as well. So with Joe, similar in that. So it's not completely new. He has some familiarity, but like you said, first day out, he was definitely calling the plays in the huddle, man.
Jerome Smith, I want production and consistently good pass coverage. So Joe. Douglas Cooley, they say Devin is going harder in practice now.
He's definitely had a pep in his step, man.
Dylan Goodson.
Before we get to the next topic, right? Devin has a pep in his step now. But why does it have to take a player like Joe coming here for you to now want to practice harder? For you to now have a little bit more pep in your step? Why? What
do you think?
No comment. Let's keep going.
What do you think? Competition? Is that what you're saying?
Told you it's different when you're looking at Spillane versus when you're looking at Joe. It's going to elevate you. But I just don't like the fact that it took that for you to want to practice harder, for you to want to get elevated now. Like, do that all the time. That's my thing, man. But we're good, man. Let's go.
Yeah. Now, this one's a good comment because I thought about this. Mm-hmm. I thought there were rumblings about this, but it never happened. Steelers wanted Schobert last offseason, but he was out of the price range. This was a great pickup. I remember rumors about that, but then seeing what he signed for, it was just like there was no way in hell we were making that move.
And that was before we started doing all this like exotic free agency stuff where we trading and
this is phenomenal.
Folks. Like we've never had an offseason like this before, man.